Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another deck profile video, and today we're going to be going over Big Byte number 6's tournament winner, Deci. Deci named his deck Deci Plays Blue, and the reason he named it was because it is a little bit out of the ordinary for him, as he generally does play green. Now, if you're interested in looking at his deck as well as all the other decks that were part of this tournament, feel free to check it out on my Discord, which will have the link in the description below. On top of that, if you're interested in seeing some of these matches as well as the entire tournaments, you can find that on my Twitch channel, and I'll also be providing that link as well. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about his deck. Let's go ahead and see what he's got in there. Alright, let's go ahead and start with the Digitama for the deck. As you can see, he's going to be running a Upamon. That's going to be running at 4, as well as 1 Wanyamon. With that being it for the Digitama of the deck, we're going to go ahead and move on to the level 3s. We've got 2 Elicmons, 2 BT1 Gomamons, 4 Promo Gomamons, 4 Starter Deck Gomamons, geez, there's a lot of Gomamons in this deck, and 2 Starter Deck Gabumons. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the level 4s. First up, we have Gorillamon running at 4, Ikakumon running at 2, Garurumon at 1, and Grismon at 4. Next up are the level 5s. We've got 3 Monzamon, 1 BT1 Zudomon, 1 Starter Deck Garurumon, and 4 Starter Deck Zudomons. Now we're moving on to the level 6s. We've got 3 Vikemons and 4 Plesiomons. Onto the level 7, Deci absolutely maxed out here and ran 4 Omnimons. Moving on to the options, we have 4 Vulcan's Hammers and 1 Sorrow Blue. And interestingly enough, there are no Tamers in this deck. Let's go ahead and take a look at the card spread. This deck runs 14 level 3s, 11 level 4s, 9 level 5s, 7 level 6s, 4 level 7s, 5 options, and 5 Digitama. And while this deck has no Tamers in it, it actually works out pretty well. The deck actually has Omnimon Turbo built into it using Gorillamon, Monzamon, and Plesiomon for quick and cheap evolutions. Not only that, Vulcan's Hammer can come in pretty clutch sometimes, as it can help you Digivolve without passing over turn. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about some of the strategies you might want to implement using this deck. So, like mentioned previously, this deck does have Omnimon Turbo in it, which means you can go ahead and evolve into Omnimon pretty quickly, either by evolving cheaply with Gorillamon, Monzamon, and Plesiomon, or just starting off with playing Monzamon onto the board for a cheap cost of 5, and then evolve into Plesiomon and Omnimon. But if Omnimon Turbo isn't your style of play, this deck actually also covers that as well, as it does have a bit more expensive evolutions with Garurumon, Ikakumon, Zudomon, and Garurumon, as well as another Zudomon from the starter deck. These evolutions actually help with Evo Source removal, which will end up helping Vikemon in the end, giving him extra DP as well as an extra security check. On top of that, this deck does run 6 cheap rookies at 2 costs, which are Gomamon from the starter deck, as well as Elicmon from BT1. If you really need to, you can also go wide and try to just attack security to keep pressure on your opponent. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about some of the key cards in this deck. First off is Vikemon. Vikemon provides 12,000 DP, and while he is a 4 cost to evolve, he does get you an extra 1,000 DP as well as an extra security check if your opponent doesn't have an evolution source underneath one of their Digimon, putting him at 13,000 DP, letting him go over many level 6s. Not only that, if you have a Were-Garurumon underneath him, you could get an additional security check for your opponent not having an evolution source. 13,000 DP with 3 security checks is a very scary thing. On top of that, you can also just evolve into Omnimon if you really need to. If you're in a sticky situation and your opponent has a Digimon with more DP than 13,000 plus whatever other modifiers you have, just evolve into Omnimon and get rid of the problem. Next up is Omnimon. Omnimon is such a great choice for this deck. Really any blue or red deck should be running Omnimon, as it's a cheap removal card that just gets rid of really anything that might be a problem for you. On top of that, you can take out multiple Digimon from your opponent's side of the board if they share the same name and you choose to destroy them. Next up is Plesiomon. Plesiomon is a 10 cost to play Digimon with 12,000 DP and a 2 cost for evolution. Now, even though he is a vanilla, having 12,000 DP is great for security checks as well as putting an oppressive presence on the board for relatively cheap. 10 memory means you can always play this card no matter what situation you're in, and then just go into Omnimon. Omnimon seems to be something that can definitely solve a lot of problems, although most of the time you won't want to pass over the 10 memory. Next up is Vulcan's Hammer. Vulcan's Hammer is such a great card for blue. It provides an extra memory for a free cost to play. This can get you out of some hairy situations where you might not have enough memory that your opponent passes over to you. Not running any tamers that drop you off at 3 memory minimum can be a little bit of a sticky situation, but Vulcan's Hammer can easily take you out of that and get you to Digivolve where you need to be. And last on the list for the key cards is Monzamon, and while he only has 6,000 DP, its cheap cost to play and cheap cost to evolve is really what sets it apart. Advancing to level 5 this quickly really puts your opponent in a tough spot because they know what's coming next. It's either going to be a Vikemon, Plesiomon, which will eventually become an Omnimon. And with that being it for the key cards, let's go ahead and talk about the synergies for this deck. Vikemon works really well with Evo Source removal cards. This includes Promo Gomamon, which will give you an extra memory every time you remove a source once per turn, as well as Ikakumon, who removes a card from the top of the stack, Garurumon, who will remove a card from the bottom of the stack, Zudomon, where on Digivolution you'll get to remove 2 cards from the bottom of the stack, as well as Gabumon, which will remove a card from the bottom of the stack if the Digimon is level 5 or lower. All these removals can help Vikemon get his effect, in which he'll get an extra 1,000 DP and an extra security check. And of course, we can't forget to talk about Omnimon. Omnimon works pretty great on his own, but I mean, there's a couple cards in here that do work really well with him. First up is Zudomon. Zudomon provides an inheritable effect in which if Omnimon attacks, he'll get an extra memory. The fact that Omnimon can attack twice, provided he has a level 6 underneath him, lets you get up to 2 memory when you swing with him on one turn. Then we have Were-Garurumon. Were-Garurumon has a similar effect to Zudomon, that it works off of your opponent having a Digimon with no Evo sources. However, the effect you actually get from him is an extra security check. So, if you have a level 6 underneath Omnimon and are able to swing twice, you'll be able to hit your opponent for up to 4 security checks with Were-Garurumon underneath. It's pretty devastating. And that's it for Big Byte number 6's deck profile, won by Deci in a 42-player tournament. Up on the screen now, you'll see Deci's path all the way to the top on day 2 with the top 8 players. If you're interested in knowing more about Big Byte, feel free to join my Discord, in which I post information about upcoming tournaments, as well as every deck played in each and every tournament. Feel free to check out my Twitch channel, where I stream the tournaments, as well as just host some games for the Digimon Card Game, and play some other things as well. And if you guys really like this video, make sure to subscribe and leave a like, as it helps out the channel a ton, and I really appreciate it. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.